Presbyterian Church in Jackson, Tennessee, and this is our daily devotional series. Romans 12:2 reads, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." So I'm really struck by this phrase, to be transformed by the renewing of your minds. How are our minds renewed and transformed? And, along those lines, I've been thinking the last several days about what I've learned during this time of pandemic and how I've changed during this experience. I think we could all sort of answer that question differently, like what have we learned and how have we changed? But for me personally, I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that I've reevaluated and refocused my priorities. I think this time of pandemic has sort of forced me to look at my calendar and look at my to-do list and to think, okay, are the things that I've always thought were so important, are those really the things that are important to me? And it's also made me realize some of the things that I took for granted for years. Something as simple as in-person worship. I just took for granted that would always be something we did, something we would have. And not being able to worship in person with all of you has had a huge impact on me, and it's made me cherish that even more than I did before, and it's made me realize what a blessing it is to be able to worship in person. And likewise, there are other things in my life that I used to think were important, and now I'm going, well, maybe that's not where I want to put my time and energy. Does that take away, from time with my family? Does it take away from, the work that I'm called to do in the church? It just has helped me to refocus what's truly important to me and what my priorities are. So it does feel like a true transformation that has come through renewal. The renewal of my priorities, the renewal of what I think is important, the renewal of just the way I sort of structure my day and move through my day. All those things have been renewed and transformed during this experience. Maybe you feel the same way. Or maybe your sense of renewal during this time looks very different. But however this, whatever this virus is teaching us, however it's changing us, we can still look for the work of God in our hearts and in our lives. And we can still look to see how Jesus Christ is renewing us and transforming us during this time. And that renewal, that transformation, will help us to discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. May it be so for all of us. Thanks be to God.